share such a passion for workplace health and safety, we've come together to share with you all the necessary health and safety practices you'll need to be familiar with now that you're interested in becoming a registered builder. Aside from pies at Smoko, running a safe site is the most crucial aspect of managing any successful project.
Righto, firstly, what do I need to consider when first planning a project?
There are three main things you'll need to suss out when starting a new project. This will give you an insight into all the potential health and safety risks you'll need to prepare for.
Okay, where do we start?
Well, firstly, scale. How big is the project overall? Is it a small job on the side or something a bit larger? The cost of the project will determine what requirements are needed on site.
Right, and next?
Next, you'll want to figure out how many contractors you'll need to complete the job.
Cool. And lastly?
Time frame. Based on the above, how long do you imagine the job will take start to finish?
Sweet. So now when I'm using contractors or subbies on a project, what will I need to make sure they have the correct H&S systems in place, the appropriate training, and the right qualifications?
You'll need to gather some information and insurance details of the contractors and companies you'll be working with, just to make sure they're up to scratch with monitoring and reviewing their own health and safety systems. This includes hazard identification and risk management, incident management, emergency management, worker engagement, health monitoring, worker competencies. This includes evidence of relevant health and safety training as well as any qualification and licenses.
Okay, and if more than one head contractor is on site, who's responsible for the management of that site?
There can only be one principal contractor for a project, whether this is an individual contractor or a company. It should be agreed ahead of time who will be appointed as the individual responsible for the management of a particular project. This is the individual who will be responsible for overseeing everything on site, including all employees and contractors. Each contractor must also manage the health and safety risks relevant to their employees, contractors and subcontractors, as well as anyone who may be affected by their work.
Is that all the principal contractor needs to worry about?
Not quite. There are a couple of other things they'll need to ensure happens on the project, such as making sure the appropriate signs such as hazard boards are deployed at each entry to all sites and display up-to-date information. It's also vital to keep employees, contractors and subcontractors informed about the site-specific safety plan. It's up to them to keep reviewing the plan throughout the project and make sure it's still accurate. If any changes are made, the plan should be updated and communicated to everyone likely to be affected. On top of all that, it's their job to ensure that everyone employed to work on site is given the appropriate health and safety training before they begin working. This is an opportunity to discuss safety requirements and should be recorded.
Okay,
Sorry, Joe, not quite done. The principal contractor is also in charge of keeping employees, contractors and subcontractors informed about the plan during toolbox talks. And finally, you must always be monitoring and reviewing the hazard and risk control measures that have been put in place at all times. This is super important to ensure that everyone is kept safe on site. When doing this, consider the following. Are the current hazard control measures eliminating potential hazards or risks? If not, do you have multiple controls in place, like substitution, engineering, isolation, administration, or PPE? Are the control measures working as planned and keeping people safe? Are these control measures reasonably practical, and are they being followed by those completing the work? Are you causing any other hazards or risks by implementing the selected control measures?
I thought you said there are only a couple more things.
It might seem like a lot, but keeping on top of health and safety responsibilities is the most important part of being a registered builder. Hazuko makes managing site health and safety a breeze. The app saves you time completing site reviews, incident reports, site inductions and more, because everything is paperless, so there's less documentation for you to keep track of. Everything's saved online and you can access the full record of health and safety for any site using the Hazuko online hub. Oh, and the free app also makes it easy for everyone to sign in and out of site, giving you a great view of who's on site and when. Is there anything else I can help you with, Joe?
Yeah, one other thing. When will we need a safe work method statement?
Good question. So whilst all work methods should be safe work methods, a safe work method statement, also known as SWMS, is a document detailing how a task that's classed as high-risk construction work will be completed safely. Once a project has been deemed as a high-risk construction work, you'll need a safe work method statement. As the principal contractor, it's your job to make sure that any contractor and subcontractor carrying out high-risk construction work on your site have a current site-specific SWMS and that it's made available to everyone involved. All right, Joe, that's Smoko.
Cheers, Vanessa. Bye all.
So if you have any further questions about getting health and safety ready, or you're interested in learning more about easy, time-saving ways to manage your health and safety with our smart technology solution, learn more about Hazardco membership at www.hazardco.com.